The small village of Iron Hollow nestled in the shadow of Stoneheart Mountain. For generations, the mountain had provided iron, copper, and precious stones, sustaining the community. But lately, strange events unsettled the village. Earthquakes rattled homes, landslides threatened the roads, and eerie tremors pulsed from deep within the mountain itself. Emilia, a young girl with a spirit as strong as the mountain, noticed her father coming home each night covered in more dust and worry than usual. Her father, a miner, was part of the team drilling deeper than ever into Stoneheart Mountain's core. The mining company had found a rich vein of minerals, and every worker was under orders to extract as much as possible, as quickly as possible. One evening, Emilia overheard her father speaking to the village elder, Old Callan. "We've dug so deep, Callan. There are parts of the mountain we've never touched before," he admitted, his voice lined with fear. Old Callan frowned, his eyes dark. "There's a legend," he said gravely. "Stoneheart is not just rock and mineral. It is alive, with a soul that rests deep within. Disturbing it beyond its will is dangerous. If the mountain is angered, it will fight back, sending earthquakes and landslides as warnings. But if one learns to respect its spirit, to listen, the mountain might offer what it wishes to give." Intrigued, Emilia listened from the doorway. The idea of a mountain with a soul, a spirit slumbering beneath the rock, filled her with wonder and fear. When her father dismissed Callan's warnings, she felt a pang of worry. That night, as tremors shook the village once more, Emilia made up her mind. She believed in the legend, and she knew what she had to do. If the mountain had a soul, perhaps it could be calmed. She would venture into the depths and offer her respect and gratitude, hoping to quiet the wrath of Stoneheart. Early the next morning, Emilia slipped out of her house before dawn, clutching a small bundle. She had gathered offerings from the village, wildflowers, a piece of her mother's bread, and a stone shaped like a heart, which she thought might please the spirit of Stoneheart. The entrance to the mine loomed before her, its mouth dark and intimidating, but Emilia pushed her fear aside, knowing this was her only chance to calm the mountain. She crept inside, following the winding tunnels, her heart pounding with each step. She could feel the faint tremors beneath her feet, as if the mountain's anger simmered just below the surface. As she ventured deeper, the walls began to pulse with strange energy. The air grew warmer, and she noticed faint glimmers of light emanating from deeper within the tunnels. She followed the light, drawn forward by a sense of both curiosity and urgency. The path opened up into a hidden chamber, unlike anything Emilia had ever seen. The walls were lined with stones that glowed softly, casting a serene blue light over everything. Strange symbols were etched into the rock, symbols that seemed to hum with ancient energy. Emilia knelt before the glowing stones, laying her offerings on the ground. "I am here to bring peace," she whispered, her voice barely a murmur. "Please, let my village be safe. We don't mean to hurt you." As she finished, a deep rumble echoed through the chamber, but this one felt different, less angry, more like the mountain was listening. The stones glowed brighter, and the symbols on the walls seemed to pulse, as if acknowledging her words. In that moment, Emilia felt a warmth spreading through her, a comforting presence. She understood that the mountain had heard her, and that perhaps her offerings had reached the spirit of Stoneheart. As Emilia knelt in the chamber, she felt a deep resonant voice echo within her mind, a voice ancient and wise. "You have come with respect," it said. "For generations my slumber has been undisturbed, but now I am roused and my heart aches from the wounds carved into my depths." Emilia's heart pounded as she realized she was communicating with the mountain spirit. "I didn't want to disturb you," she replied, her voice trembling. "The miners, they didn't know." The spirit's voice was gentle but firm. "They take without asking, without listening. There's balance in all things. I offer my gifts to those who honor me, but those who seek to claim them by force awaken my wrath." Emilia listened intently, her mind racing. She thought of the elder's words about respecting the mountain and taking only what it offered. "Is there a way to make things right?" she asked, her voice small. The spirit paused and whispered, "I am willing to share, but only if your people learn to listen. In the depths of this mountain lies a map, a guide to what may be taken, to the gifts I am willing to offer. But it must be followed with care, and who disregard it will face my fury." The symbols on the walls began to glow brighter, forming patterns and pathways that Emilia recognized as a map of the mountain's tunnels and hidden chambers. She understood that this was Stoneheart's gift, a way to mine without causing harm. Grateful, Emilia promised to deliver the message to her father and the miners. She knew that if they followed the map, they could still mine from the mountain without incurring its wrath. Emilia rushed back to the village, eager to share what she had learned. She found her father and old Callan speaking with the other miners, their faces tense as they discussed the recent earthquakes and landslides. "Father," Emilia cried, out of breath, "I went to the mountain and I spoke to the spirit." Her father looked at her, stunned. "Emilia, what are you talking about?" She took a deep breath, recounting her journey into the mine and the message from Stoneheart. She described the map she had seen, explaining that it showed which parts of the mountain could be mined safely. "The mountain will offer its gifts if we listen and follow its guidance," she finished, her eyes pleading. The miners exchanged skeptical glances, some muttering disbelief, but old Callan silenced them with a raised hand. The legend spoke of this, of the mountain spirit willing to share its resources with those who respected it. "I believe her." Emilia's father studied her, seeing the conviction in her eyes. "Show us the map," he said. She led them to the mine, guiding them to the hidden chamber. The miners gazed in awe at the glowing stones and the map etched into the wall. They felt the energy of the mountain around them, ancient and powerful. Emilia's father was the first to speak. "We'll follow this map, as Stoneheart has asked. We have taken too much without thinking. It's time we respected the mountain's wishes." One by one, the miners agreed, humbled by the spirit's generosity. They realized they could coexist with the mountain, taking only what it was willing to give. Over the following weeks, the miners followed the map Emilia had shown them, carefully extracting resources from only the areas marked as safe by Stoneheart. They no longer drilled indiscriminately. Instead, they treated the mountain with reverence, understanding that they were guests within its steps. The earthquakes and landslides ceased, and the tremors quieted. The villagers noticed a new peace within the mountain, as though it had settled back into its slumber, content with the respect it was finally being shown. The once constant rumbling was replaced by a calm, almost rhythmic pulse that seemed to hum in harmony with the village. Emilia often returned to the hidden chamber, where she would leave offerings of thanks. She felt a deep connection to Stoneheart, and she sensed that the mountain remembered her. Each time she visited, she could feel the spirit's gentle presence, acknowledging her efforts and those of the miners. The villagers, seeing the change in the mountain, began to respect it as well. They shared the story of Stoneheart's spirit with their children, passing down the legend so that future generations would understand the importance of living in harmony with the earth. One evening, as the sun set behind the mountain, casting it in hues of gold and crimson, Emilia sat with old Callan by the village fire. "You have done well, child," he told her. "The spirit of Stoneheart will remember this." Emilia smiled, watching as the last rays of sunlight kissed the mountain's peak. She knew that her journey had saved the village and restored peace to Stoneheart. The mountain would continue to watch over them, a silent guardian, as long as they remembered to listen and respect its ancient wisdom. And so, the legend of Stoneheart Mountain grew, a reminder that harmony with nature was not only possible, but essential for true peace.